In this episode of Reddit Responds, we ask Reddit the following question. What is typically fake or stupid in movies?
Immediate DNA results.
Similarly, immediate hacking. 2 seconds typing. I'm in.
How mature the high school students look. Have you ever looked at a high school yearbook?
When I was in elementary school, I was so excited to be a high schooler. Because I would look so grown up and mature. Duck you Disney Channel for lying to me.
Just watch an episode of Glee. The freshmen are obviously in their 20s and 30s.
The beatings people take. And how quickly they get up from devastating blows.
Or when someone is knocked unconscious and remains so for hours to days and is totally fine.
If you are straight knock the duck out for an hour and then wake up, you aren't just gonna shake the cobwebs out and get back to taking down an entire mob family. You are ducked up.
People taking their eyes off the road for like 5 seconds.
They always turn themselves completely around to talk to people in the back seat or beside them, as if they couldn't hear each other otherwise.
Blowing up a grainy picture makes it clearer.
There is obviously no coffee in the cup.
Orders coffee. Immediately takes huge sass sip. Dude. Let that chai cool off a minute.
When people slice the palm of their hand open for a drop of blood. That shite will take forever to heal. Just prick your finger. Darn.
No cleanup after sex. Or before.
Or after a raunchy night of sex. Wake up dressed in either underwear or pajamas. And with perfect makeup.
Wearing bras during sex. Or if no bra, she has to wrap a bedsheet around herself. Or leave the bedroom carrying her clothes. Like? He just saw you naked. Seeing you get dressed is the opposite of what you just did. You don't have to hide it. Do some camera cuts. Don't film the broad walking with a bedsheet on.
Silencers do not mute the gun. It only makes the sound more tolerable.
A scene in John Wick 2, where John and Cassian are sneakily shooting at each other with silenced pistols. In the middle of a crowded subway terminal. Is so ducking stupid and I love it.
Never saying goodbye when finishing a phone call. They just hang up. Also, making plans with someone without specifying the time and or place.
Him. Can I take you out for dinner tonight? Her. Sure, pick me up at 8. Him at 8. I really should have asked for her number. Or her address. Or name. Or
The food. The poor. Long-suffering food. No one eats it. No one enjoys it. People go to restaurants primarily to order something, have it arrive, and then have an argument and storm out.
Working as a waitress. Or some other near minimum wage job. And having excessive time off. And money. And things like huge houses.
This exact thing. The single mom waitress in a 3,000 square foot apartment. With a 2-year-old car. And an amazing haircut.
I ducking hate that beyond belief. Another version of that is basically anyone on HGTV. My husband is a part-time kindergarten teacher and I make artisanal toilet seats. We have a budget of $8 million.
Heroes never reloading their weapons.
Or when they do. And they just drop the magazine and go. Those things aren't cheap.
If you're an 80s action movie star, you just throw guns down after they run out of ammo. And take up the ones from the bad guys you just took down. And they're magically full instead. Repeat that process until you get to the ultimate bad guy, where everyone is supposed to throw their guns away and turn it into a fist fight.
Yes. A fist fight where both people endure multiple punches. That any single one would knock out a UFC champion.
Everyone has breakfast together before heading off to work or school to get an early start. And the level of sunlight outside indicates it's about 1:35 p.m.
Kids having breakfast or coffee together before school. Period. High school starts at like 7:30 a.m. Pretty sure I was barely making it to class on time. Just coming directly from my house.
Duckers who yank out their IVs. Tugged on mine once and I ducking cried.
I remember waking up from a surgery and trying to do this when I was a kid. Because I was groggy and scared. And the pain was so bad I threw up on myself.
Bad guy receives a mortal wound, like a point-blank gunshot to the torso, or deep knife wound, and just lays there bleeding profusely for a minute, with the protagonist immediately forgetting about them. Then is able to somehow stand up and have like an 8-round boxing match with the protagonist, before finally being finished off.
How it takes less than a week to develop a vaccine for a global pandemic, and by a brilliant scientist who was kicked out of their institution for being too radical.
And it's one scientist who comes up with the final solution. That they of course inject themselves with it first, and have the results instantly. That's not how science works. And that's definitely not what testing a vaccine looks like.
In a horror movie, everyone acts insanely stupid. No one ever believes each other. They go outside to investigate a loud noise when there's been a string of murders, etc.
Our best chance is if we split up.
When they see some stranger standing in the shadows, saying absolutely nothing. Stephanie? George? Is that you?
In historical movies, when actors have perfect white teeth.
If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss future content like this. Thank you. Come again.